all of our quarterfinals are now complete, and we get to see which team will be booking it to these grands. We've already had both of our teams that made the finals last year. Jesse, they're still in the bracket, and we're about to watch one of them again. The St. Charles Cyber Corsairs just dominated their way through the quarterfinals with Widowmaker leading the way on their signature Widowmaker. They're going against Hazelwood, though, Jesse, a team that we have seen that it really hasn't missed a beat throughout the entirety of it, and we'll have to see. Will this be the test that the St. Charles Cyber Corsairs have needed, or will they manage to overcome what has been the best brawl team we've watched all day?
I will say this. The map pool definitely favors St. Charles because of the fact that Numbani and Circuit Royale are the second and third maps of this, because they are definitely not rush maps. Circuit Royale, if we need to go to a map 3, it's a sniper map. It's one of the only maps in the game where you consistently run Sigma and Hanzo and Widowmaker and Ashe. Like, that is a sniper map. So the fact that that is the tiebreaker map potentially, I think definitely sways it slightly towards St. Charles' favor. But if you're the Wildcats, you need to win this first map. You need to win this first map and then just give yourself a chance in that second map. Because if you go to a third, I'm not saying it's impossible, but the odds are definitely not leaning that direction.
Not exactly. And Widowmaker, I mean, you could play the Widow on this map, and it does seem to be the case. But I think the more interesting piece is Rhoda and Cheeky Scrub are remaining on tank and DPS roles. Specifically, if we've seen a Reinhardt come out, it's been, or like an Orisa, it's been Cheeky Scrub to take up that role. And that just means that Rhoda doesn't want to match this brawl. They don't want to do anything too crazy, but it's not like Hazelwood are doing the same thing. Potato Cujo and Burb have also swapped.
Well, like, what are with these role swaps? Like, I won't lie, these role swaps, I love it. I love that we're changing it up. We're having a lot of diversity, and you're kind of keeping at least some of your cards hidden from the other team. But I wonder if this is the right call. Maybe it's just the fact that, hey, maybe Burb is their best Widow, and they want to make sure they can contest Widowmaker. I think that's probably the call.
Hazelwood West did their homework. They got to watch the last series play out, saw what Widowmaker did, and changed their game plan accordingly. Venture from Nova had the first elimination of the day, and Potato Cujo pushed everybody else forward. The difference now is much harder to land shots on these incredibly mobile teams.
Yeah, especially when there's Doomfist on both sides are ready to go. It's incredibly difficult. The Doom never got looked at.
They just had no idea Potato Cujo was there. Nova fighting right alongside their tank, and this is an excellent look from Hazelwood West. It's not the best brawl team, but I'm liking this Doomfist gameplay.
The Doomfist is looking clean. I will say, so far, Potato Cujo is winning the Doomfist duel. Ultimate percentage up 40-some%. And well, there's
okay, well, goodbye. You're walking straight into crosshairs, and you can't afford to pay him any glasses at this point. You're just trying to move forwards. Widowmaker ended up swapping off the Widow and is now on the Cassidy. What's crazy about this, Jesse, is Hazelwood West are beating St. Charles High Corsairs at their own game.
yeah,
Wow.
Not what I expected. What is happening? This is not script. I thought script writers are going crazy. That's all I gotta say. Widowmaker goes over to the just like, hey, no, you can't. Y'all gotta relax just for a few seconds. We need to make sure we get through some of these chokes, and it still doesn't matter.
Can't do that. Burp can see you through the walls. You better think he's gonna hit shots. Oh, Hazelwood West, the Burp, the tank players are usually thought to not have great aim, but Burp, the complete opposite of that. Nova goes in with Potato Cujo, like the synergies on point in the front line. You got Burb as a backbone, and I mean, this is just some of the best look you've seen from Hazelwood.
It's crazy how these teams, like, every time these teams win, they just look infinitely better the next time around. It is wild. And now they're in a great spot. Yeah, the rotation's going on.
Exponential growth every time we see them, and Nova is just that TikTok shock on Q with the nano boost, even more deadly than it previously was. Hazelwood West, a dominant showing out on Q.
I'm done trying to guess. I know I said Hazelwood West had to win this map. I didn't know they were going to do it, at least so far, like this. Pure dominance in the first round of the ball is exactly which is why, honestly, this is the better of the two remaining. You don't go to Village, where the Rush is that's definitely the best sub map on Nepal for Rush, as it's a very enclosed point. Ryan, Orisa, they love it, especially the Maze as well. But instead, you go to this to where, hey, the Widowmaker, there's a lot of spots where they can be hiding. And now the fact that, hey, Widowmaker, I respect it. We'll be going straight back over to it, but now with the assistance of Cheeky Scrub on the Sombra. And that is definitely going to be just purely to make Burb's life as difficult as humanly possible.
This is one way to make a change, but the difference now is Sombra is not permanently invisible. You do have to come out, throw a translocator every 7 seconds with a 1 second delay in between. So Cheeky Scrub has to be even more cautious about the rotations that he decides to take. Instead, will end up with a support for his troubles. That's even better than getting a Widowmaker, if you have to say it. Looking for the Venture too. Okay, Cheeky Scrub. I see it. What's it with these tank players? Just looking so good on DPS today, Jesse.
They look phenomenal so far, and I think it is definitely an applause to these teams being so deep, right? Like, they're not just gonna run one. They're not just gonna run one rotation of people on different roles. They have multiple preset comps as people on multiple different roles. And now even, you look at him, Tato Kujo goes over to the Zarya to help try and deal with the Orisa, but also as a counter to the Sombra to help those that are getting dove in the back line. And well, it doesn't matter though.
Well, you wanted an opening. There you go. One shot, one elimination, and same thing goes for Cheeky Scrub. Nova did the thing where you just kind of eat Sombra for breakfast, turn right around, 1-2 combo, and does it again right there. This is why I love Venture. You can just sneak up and people underestimate the damage that this hero does. Exactly what St. Charles High fell victim to.
Yeah, that's insane. Again, the fact that these Widows are hitting the shot, right? And even there, nice little, they tried to get the shot off. I think they were on one of the leftover Dread Pirate pedals. But yeah, now they're gonna run it. I was like, hey, you can't, this ain't happening. Because these shots are hitting consistently is the insane thing.
And it continues to remain that way, even with the changes. Now boost on to Nova. We don't have to backing up thanks to Rhoda. On the other side, Nova even themselves is relatively low, had to go into ground, can't get much value out of the ultimate other, really, than Widowmaker. And St. Charles High are okay with sacrificing their sniper.
Yeah, as long as the team wins, I don't think they're really going to care that. I like them trying to finish it, but also a great job from Hazelwood. Let's relax. As you in for sight pop by a Burb. Widowmaker doesn't have it yet. So, yeah, this is 3 eyes. We're almost trying to bodyguard, but they left.
There you go, Burb. Some shield for Widowmaker was moving as Rhoda doesn't like sticking in one place for that long. St. Charles High are in a decent spot now, though, with the Death Blossom in the back line. He doesn't hit anything out of it, and that's one of a major ultimate down the drain, which is rather rough. An opportunity for the Wildcats that they are certainly making the most of. More specifically, Burb, more eliminations on the Widowmaker from their off angle, and it's been great nonetheless.
It's like they find a new angle every time. It's like they're just finding the most random of angles. Like, look at this. As soon as they peek around that corner, well, now they at least know it's there. Someone from St. Charles could get their head taken off. But now for St. Charles, you only need one fight. You have the Terror Surge in hand. That's really about it. It is the only ultimate on the field other than the Nano from Teaser for Hazelwood. This is going to be very much a neutral fight, one that both teams desperately need to win.
Well, early cooldowns forced. Rhoda, though, another Terror Surge in the back, and that's what St. Charles High are looking for. A quick bit of executed play. Widowmaker moved over to the May. We've seen how impactful that hero can be throughout the day, and the one trick is just not true after all. Still moving towards a final fight territory, and it doesn't seem that Hazelwood will get a touch. Rhoda pushing up, deny it completely. And for the first time today, Jesse, we are going to see all 3 rounds of this loss.
It's possible. It's actually possible to go to a round 3 of a control. That is, hey, I'm not cursed. I'll say. And a quick update as well. We know our first finalist. The first finalist has been confirmed. Francis Howell will be in the final to try and defend their title. They defeat St. Dominic 2-0 and are now patiently watching this game to see how this one wraps up. But already one team locked in. We'll see after Village who is at least in a good position to be that other one. Like we said, Village, it definitely leans itself to the brawl. Not surprised that St. Charles goes back over to old reliable Ryan.
No more Widowmaker on the ball. We've stopped doing that. We're back to the May Reaper. That is a ton of up-in-your-face damage. St. Charles High, if they can get close enough and not let Potato Kuja distract him like he's doing now, I'd say this would be great for them. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You lose out on your tank and have no big spearhead push in with. Hazelwood, pretty free to move about this map, confirm eliminations as they will, and ideally get the first capture of the point.
Yeah, they should be able to get the first capture of the Life Weaver. Get out of this. We're lining up the shots, even though they're not on the sniper. That 6-shooter is dangerous, especially right now. Cassidy with that new flashbang buff is A, not needed, but B, again, just kind of jumps back into the meta. And I love this for Hazelwood. Just play the high ground. They're on Reinhardt. How are they going to go up there and try and challenge? They can't.
You can't. And it's better to go point. Make Hazelwood come to you. St. Charles High wants to fight close. And that's what this point allows, unless here we go, just gets one shot. Potato Kujo, get that off my screen. That was disgusting play from Hazelwood's tank player. St. Charles High kind of just crumbled under the pressure that is Nova, Potato Kujo. All of these moving pieces that they actually saw another team fusion and Fort earlier, confusing their opponent.
Yeah, it's almost like just rig around the rosy, like, hey, we're gonna try and force you to play point. And then we're gonna drop point, and that's exactly kind of where we want to play you anyway, even though that should be better for you. So this is again, great job so far. Doomfist punch forces the gold already from Rhoda, and they have the ult if they just want to be able to use it to get out.
And Reaper not doing too hot either. Cheeky scrub and so little health with that immediate push. Potato Kujo just kind of sends it into the back line. I don't know if yeah, they got an escape plan. There's always an escape plan for Potato Kujo. My bad for ever doubting you. Hazelwood West, though, do lose out on Nova. St. Charles might see this. Has an opportunity to push forward. Burb is over-aggressive with their ult. That's a second shutdown out of Rhoda. Exactly what the Cyber Corsairs needed to get themselves on this point.
There will be a stall coming in from the Doomfist. Yeah, the shotguns are not a fan of stalling. But it is already 83% for Hazelwood. So it is one fight territory for them to take this map, and that is going to be a rough stagger on. I will say, don't let her get out. Now you look at it from the ult economy point of view. Hazelwood did use a few ultimates during that last fight. They're going to have the Baptiste window and Nova's ultimate as well to try and enter in, but there is just more available for Hazelwood.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Hazelwood have been so dominant on this map. Some combos got it. No, Cheeky Scrub is completely denied. Pyro Inferno, the only casualty of the combo. It should be enough to deter it since it is good.
Yeah, and for Hazelwood, you don't use anything, so it's not a massive, worry. But now St. Charles, they got 2 more ultimates. That is exactly the rotation they need. Even though that wall is going to force Potato Kujo in an out spot, but they find the kill anyway.
Yeah, Widowmaker is kind of out in the open. Burb was able to help Potato Kujo with that elimination, and now St. Charles High, they're in survival mode. There's a Bionade. These are preventing any healing to come through, and that play right there to go ahead and seal the deal. One more potential touch to take her.
Yeah, everybody's going to be a late spawn. Everybody to spawn except for Widowmaker, who isn't necessarily the fastest. You typically want your mate to be like second or third to touch.
Go down.
Yeah, they have to ice block. They can't make it. Somebody else has to touch, but it will be Cheeky Scrub to touch.
I'm just using your May as a distraction. Widowmaker died for the cause for sure, but you don't have resources. You don't have answers. All Burb right now in the Gilfy with the damage. And Charles High fought very hard. They kept it up as long as they could. We even had our first 3 rounds of control. Yet this third one, Hazelwood West High School were able to pull it out off the backs of their Doomfist and Nova.
And especially because the fact they shut down Widowmaker using the Widow early, it forces St. Charles to use a lot of different looks. And that also went to their advantage. I think this first run, I won't lie, it was all Hazelwood. Like this was all Hazelwood. I love seeing this play, but I do think now it changes my thought here on the second half. I won't lie. I was definitely leaning towards St. Charles after we saw their series. It's like, man, this team looks good. Like this team looks really good right now. Wildcat have now showed a little bit more consistency and more adaptability than we've seen in the past. But earlier, like, oh, we're just gonna go right again. Even though it's Blizzard, we're just gonna go right again. And don't get me wrong, it worked, but it makes you worry against teams like this. But now they actually had those changes. They worked. Like we saw the Zarya come out. We saw different looks. This is now a very dangerous situation for St. Charles if they can't figure out how to shut down these DPS, because they're having a good time. And as well, the Doomfist. Doomfist is so hard to counter. They tried, but when you try and counter the Doomfist, you can't counter the DPS. It's almost like the catch-22, you know, they were putting the other team in the last series we saw. This time around, it's on them.
Something had to change for St. Charles had to do something. They had to do something different. They opted to focus on the Doomfist instead of the Widowmaker. That ended up switching anyway. So it wasn't as much of a problem, but it did feel like there was some disconnect between the tank and the DPS, where I'm always seeing Potato Cujo and Nova together. They're going after the same target. They're working as a unit, and that like 1-2 quite literally punch force of those two players on the Venture and Doomfist respectively was enough to overwhelm even when Burb couldn't get as much done on this Widowmaker. Umbani, though, is going to be an interesting map because it's a map that really is never picked in competitive play and has even been recently reworked in certain parts, making it more easily accessible for the attackers. While it's going to be helpful, contesting high grounds, a common theme from today. Setting up these snipers on angles, we are bound to see Widowmaker return to their home on the Widow.
Yeah, the Widows will be fun, right? Like, especially, yes, it's a reworked map. I would say Rush, given the map changes, Rush could actually work maybe a little bit better.
Maybe?
But maybe as, I'm just going to ignore what Potato Cujo's on right now. I'm not even going to, I ain't even going to worry about that right now. I will say for St. Charles, they do have, again, another role swap. Rhoda will go over to DPS, Cheeky Scrub over to tank. You can see it. Man, this is all new. This is the first time I've actually seen this part of the map. I won't lie. I've seen what they changed up by where the Kiriko is right now, but I haven't seen that change. Okay, I like that. Again, this map for so long, it's so hard to get high ground control. I think that's where they tried to go. And yeah, I knew it Potato Cujo. So that was bait. I understood that was happening. They will go over this fair.
You know what's not bait though? Widowmaker isn't on Widowmaker. Something feels wrong. St. Charles Cyber Corsairs are full committing to the dive. And honestly, I don't hate this. Burb, in all honesty, was getting the better of Widowmaker on the majority of the Widow duels previously. So if you identify it's not working, you try something else. But then that brings up another issue. Potato Cujo almost had 3 eliminations all by himself there. Wasn't the case. Widowmaker found the synergy with Cheeky Scrub, dove on Pyro Inferno, and giving St. Charles High School a chance at holding it.
Yeah, it really does give them an opportunity because the counter is so strong. And already Pyro Inferno going over to Lucio. Changes are already being made. And here we go. Junker Queen has returned to the fray. Again, full rush with the double speed support as well. With the Juno and Lucio. They're just running it down. No thoughts, just double.
We know Potato Cujo can very well play this Junker Queen. Not a concern about that. The big concern, though, is how can they manage to survive against this dive? And it could be in a scrap. It is a bloodbath of a fight, but one that Nova and Burb seem to be winning for their team. Cheeky Scrub took their eyes off of Burb for just a second, but there's kind of a big old bomb of deployment. Burb decided to disregard, and just like that, they go high. Our stalling is out, and it's all Cheeky Scrub. Got 3 eliminations, and with how spawns are, it's very easy for Hazelwood. Now, Hazelwood might have to back off. They'll have to be St. Charles in the test.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes. Nova, they could turn it back.
trying to make something out of nothing. Windowmaker, again, another 2. Bloodbath is the only way to describe what just happened. It is scrap on scrap, tooth and nail. St. Charles High School who haven't been able to find a full foot back in. They have Kitsune Rush. Should they get a contested? I don't really think they're going to have it. Windowmaker goes in, or I know it's Cheeky Scrub that goes in. You can't get this ultimate off. After all, the trade Burr for dead Pirate ain't great, not gonna lie. And especially with Windowmaker going down, at this point, it is good as over. Assuming Potato Juke can go ahead, clean this one up. Rhoda, even coming blade to this. St. Charles are putting everything into the fight, but they're just a little short.
I was about to say, Rhoda actually brought that back. That would have been absolutely insane. Granted, they already stall a good amount of time off that point. They stall a good almost 30 seconds or so away. And again, that could matter down the line. It may not matter. But 3.5 minutes. And now St. Charles, they're kind of still stuck on this composition. Cheeky Scrub's at 20% bomb. You have ultimates already available. You kind of have to stick it.
You don't really have voice, but I mean, it's working. Clearly, Cujo is doing what he does best, and that's close the gap between him. Oh, it's what a knife, too, to pull them closer and just slice them down to bits. We'll likely end up going down to this. Oh, never mind. Squeeze around a corner. My bad, I guess. Windowmaker's caught out of position, too. Like Potato Cujo is just picking up a limb.
They are just in a phenomenal spot, no matter if they're on DPS, if they're on tank. They've done a great job at just finding those targets, and I think part of the advantage is being on the June and on the Dunker Queen. It feels like you're like you are just taking your 1v1s, and that's where they shine.
Will be Nova. Like the second point most of the time doesn't really exist. So the Cyber Forcer still commit. It was an EMP. Cheeky Scrub and Windowmaker get one piece. Enough to outlast. EMP is still an incredibly powerful ultimate, even if Sombra has to be relearned.
Yeah, you definitely can't play Sombra how you used to, right? But the fact that EMP is still one of the best ultimates in the game, no fist. And Rhoda is gone. So they have all. If they can get out, granted, that's not going to happen.
All right, bye.
They couldn't.
Oh, that was close. They do touch the payload. 0.66 meters. Not a lot of breathing room. And look how close this is to being contested. Pyro Inferno smells how close it is. Amidst the sound barrier, so much extra overkill. A burst of aggression usually is the answer, but Hazelwood never actually got that aggressive. They couldn't push further forwards because of how defensive Cheeky Scrub was, negating the damage from the rest of their team. Windowmaker into the back line once more and gets a trade out for the venture. Very end of it, but it doesn't get to settle. St. Charles High School just keeps tucking players after body at this payload, hoping for some way to pull through, and they're gonna do just that, Jess.
Yeah, they do just that. Again, they're able just to finally just continue holding the line. And St. Charles, how many more tricks do they got? Like that's my thing. How many more tricks do they have left in the tank? I was saying earlier, hey, maybe they need to swap off this composition. But no, they've actually made it work really well. They're forcing Hazelwood to be in very awkward situations. And now,
there it is. And Orbital Rise is it's the best ultimate in the game. You're not gonna lose with it. And Potato Cujo took advantage of the damage boost and go ahead. Okay, they're just staggering out a little bit more. At the end of the day, you got what you're paying for if you're Hazelwood.
Yeah, if you're Hazelwood, you got exactly what you want. Right? Like that's exactly what you want. Hey, you still got 2 minutes going into this. It's not like you have a ton of time that you still need to make up. You're in a relatively okay spot. But now, as you go into this is a must-win fight. I would say for St. Charles, now that you made these.
You have to make something work of it. You have your orbital ray of your own. Again, incredibly strong ultimate, but it goes too far ahead. You'll notice that we saw Hazelwood, Potato Cujo just push on in, ignore the ultimate existing in the first place, which usually is not advisable unless you are good at Junker Queen.
Yeah, when you're just this good at Junker Queen, it's giving me just flashbacks of some of the best JQs in Collegiate right now. Like, you can just run a lobby. You literally can. And again, we talked earlier, typically you can't in this game. JQ is one of the few heroes that you genuinely
And the problem is you don't stand super well against a Hammer and a May. Cheeky Scrub made the right move. be happening. This fight should not still be going on, and hopefully it doesn't any longer, at least for the sake of the home team here in Charles High School. Managed to get a little bit of stabilization, but man, was that close.
A little too close for comfort, especially as soon as I saw the Sombra die with EMP. I'm like, man, this could maybe get flipped. If Hazelwood is not, if Hazelwood can actually clinch it out, but St. Charles, they finish it out. 40-some seconds remaining. Shatter online.
I thought it was going down right there. You and I both held our breaths for a second, but maybe you waited a little bit too long. The sound barrier's out. The overhealth is gone, and there's Shatter doing what he does best, and that is causing chaos with a good old hammer and shield. Kane with the only elimination, though. We're still seeing Hazelwood West commit a ton of their own ultimates into this, which they may end up regretting later on. You have 15 seconds left, and you are not getting anything near a full contest, let alone one at all. Potato Cucho going down.
Yeah, especially with those final kills, it's going to be near impossible. Yes, there's going to be a touch, but yeah, not a quality. That is for sure, as no time picker winds down.
This will be just about all that she wrote here on the attack box. We're seeing Hazelwood West, excuse me, check bodies at this payload and hoping for the best. Get the rampage in play. It's not over. Potato Cucho trying to be the hero. There's only so much that you can do when you're fighting a 2v5 battle, and the St. Charles High School halting this payload about halfway through.
And yes, I believe we're trying to get it fixed right now. I know it says Fox Senior High School, but yes, that is Hazelwood West that we were talking about on the right side of the screen. But yeah, honestly, again, not a bad push considering the kind of map it is and everything that they've tried to run. They never really tried to run dive. And that is the risk you take when you get to this point of the map. You may not have as much time as you would have liked, but still a decent push here for Hazelwood. And the objective is clear. Don't allow St. Charles to get that far. You clinch your spot in the final. But if St. Charles win, we're going to a third map in this series. So again, it is nice when you have these very clear win conditions. My thing is, yes, right now the Junker Queen is not going to be played here by Hazelwood. How do you still deal with this Burb and Potato Cujo, especially now on the defense? This Widow is going to be just that much better.
Burb's going to be set up on that. You'll have Nova on a defensive Venture. Venture is significantly easier to run on the defense, mind you. Potato Cujo back to that good old Battle Cattle and Orisa. I mean, we're going to get what seems to be close-ish to a mirror. The biggest difference, of course, being Burb on the Widow. I don't think Windowmaker wants to attempt to match that again. He got a lot of value out of the Sombra, and it makes sense. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, you might as well just keep running it, right? Like, you might as well just keep on cooking forward. As Burb, well, Burb almost gets taken out. The first second they try it. And instead, they actually will be able to get out. And now Nova can tell everybody, hey, they're here, but they're not.
Oh, Nova just got stunned out of play, but they forgot about Burb on the opposing high ground. Fang playing with the fire, and eventually each fire. That's a bitter end. Hazelwood at least have enough. They've slowed down the momentum of St. Charles enough. It's no longer this go, 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 go. It's like, wait a minute, we should probably get our supports back in play before doing anything. And now you have to wait longer. Now that Burb found the head of the gun.
And now that pick goes through, you gotta wait even longer. It's a lot of pressure, I won't lie, on the Widowmaker to find the picks on the Widow because of the fact that if it was old Sombra, it wouldn't be. But current Sombra, it's so difficult and Rhoda just. But now the Winston play, that does help. That does help.
Winston is like the epitome of dive tank. You have a jump that gets you vertical and horizontal mobility, a big old bubble shield that prevents the damage from coming in, and you can easily isolate and collapse on targets such as Burb or Windowmaker can try to do it by themselves. With Pyro Inferno that has a split-second reaction time to place down an immortality field to keep the sniper alive. St. Charles High School a little bit off timing in their dive attempts so far, and that's great. Potato Cujo and Nova, they can capitalize on the split seconds of kind of splitness that we're seeing from this game.
Yeah, I will say the more split this is really becoming, it's just benefiting Hazelwood even more and more. Like, they want it to kind of be like this, where they can just pick off somebody here and there, whether it's Vayne or Cheeky Scrub, Windowmaker, whoever. If they want to pick off whoever is left alone, that's time again. Cheeky Scrub, maybe they're just a little bit too long or too early, considering where the rest of the team was. And now half of that time bank is already gone. And Hazelwood in a phenomenal spot because they have not had to use a single ultimate.
Not at all. And this is kind of the pacing, the rather discipline that we see from some of the best teams in this event. They're not going to use their ultimates if they don't have to. They're not going to use their cooldowns if they don't have to. And we've seen from Hazelwood West, the Wildcats are disciplined. They're using their resources nicely, and now you have all of these extra tools to use for the loss of your supports. But the problem is, they wait too long. You have too much discipline, too much. You can be a little bit more wild than this. Nova's Tectonic Shock doesn't get a whole lot done because they don't have the support needed right now, and St. Charles High School should be able to get at least a couple ticks back.
Yeah, they should be able to. I wonder if they can get a touch. If they can get a touch, they have Terra Surge, Nano, Window. They have resources. I just don't know if they're actually going to be able to get the touch. That is the issue. But, no, they Nano and they don't get
yeah, you can put the teleporter down, but it doesn't register as being on the point until the Reaper actually appears at that location. So they're really just a half second off from getting the touch and doesn't get the value out of Nano Boost. Now, Hazelwood that are on the back foot. St. Charles Cyber Corsairs have built up to quite a few ultimates of their own here, Jesse, and they're going to start using them now. Cheeky Scrub to start the Primal Rage, battering these players into a pulp. Nova first to follow, and it's the support to come after. Wonderful play from St. Charles High School, getting a head start on what is the hardest point in the line.
Yeah, get a beautiful head start, and I think it's even a better position for them because this part of the map is just so good. Well, I was about to say good for the dive. And now they are not on dive. They are on the Dunker Queen. So going back to comfort, which I wonder if Windowmaker is literally waiting for the MP to use it when Potato Cujo uses Terra Surge.
Scrub, though, already has Nova. We've just seen some great Dunker Queen play throughout the day. There's the EMP cancels the Terra Surge. You read it in the playbook. You did predict something today, Jesse.
Hey.
Congratulations.
I did my job. I got my
you.
one prediction as a color. Take it.
Shout out St. Charles High School for following the traditional forms of Overwatch. And hey, it worked out for them. They just scooted their way through that point in 3.5 minutes, and they don't even need a full completion.
No, they don't need a full completion. They need about like what 15 or 20 meters short of a full completion, and they have over 3 minutes to do it, so they can really take their time. They have, yes, the blade right now, but that's really about it. They could, if they wanted, wait for the rampage, wait for the EMP to be online, but they could also just push in knowing that, especially with Hazelwood making the swaps they did, their ult bank is also severely.
You're running out of resources, running out of options. It's going to be Bird versus Rhoda, and Rhoda back himself with the laser beam pointed at him. Not a fun place for a Genji to be. The Zarya swap from Potato Cujo could come at a better time.
Oh yeah, that couldn't have came at a better time, and now swaps will be made for Hazelwood. Burb goes over to the Soldier as well, so this will be again a little bit of a change. Definitely trying to keep the range, and just like that, Rhoda will swap over to the Tracer. Try and make their life difficult. This turns into the kind of this hero roulette. Everybody's trying to counter everybody, but who will actually be able to get it done? Tree of Life and Rampage online here for the home team.
Of course, Arizona don't have a ton of burst damage. It's a lot of this kind of poking in, poking out, seeing what can be done. But Nova, on the other hand, going straight in. You got the Tree of Life, pop healing for the St. Charles Cyber Corsairs, and none of it thanks to the Rampage on the other side. Cheeky Scrub sending Hazelwood reeling backwards, and it's almost looking like we might get it. The difference is Potato Cujo is still alive, has a decent amount of health. He needs to be dealt with right now. It's now what we need to see from Hazelwood. They're staggering out. They're buying as much time off this clock as they can. This payload less than 4 meters away from pushing us to a map 3 from the Cyber Corsairs, making a comeback, and Rhoda is taking step by step to make sure it happens. A couple more shots from Cheeky Scrub, looking for this back piece. Probably just doesn't die. The bubbles, the healing, it's all there. And the spawns with how close they are. They're not finishing off the fight fast enough. Players keep coming back in. Potato Cujo's going to have a Graviton Surge here. Is it going to be the help? No. There's no damage. There's no healing. Cyber Corsairs have done it. They're not done fighting, Jesse. We're going to a map 3.
St. Charles forced the third map of this series, and my oh my, what a fashion to do it. Cheeky Scrub with the swap over to Tank. I know, Tiny. I think it works. I think
so.
I think it's swapped. Now we'll get ready to go to Circuit Royale for the decider, but man, again, this series just keeps giving and giving and giving. And see, yeah, Circuit Royale being the final map of this series, no matter what, we won't get to serve us, so we don't have to worry. That's a final issue. Going over to Flashpoint, I mean, this is lining up to be one of the best series of the weekend so far.
I think it already is, Jesse.
Yeah.
And maybe only a grand final series can manage to top that. Only one of these teams can face off against the defending champions and Francis Howell Central or the finals. And I mean, they're going to Circuit Royale to decide it. And if you're not familiar with Circuit Royale, it is the sniper map of all time. It is the best spot you could possibly ask for to play those comps. Some teams have been playing a little bit more of a rush. It's not necessarily hard locked on Poke or Sigma. We don't want to go that far. We are focused on what the snipers will be doing, because there's no way you're going to pass up an opportunity like this to put your strongest heroes, your strongest players on their strongest heroes.
Yeah, at this point, you just got to put your players in the best position, right? And I definitely say, well, beginning of the series, I would have said it favors St. Charles, but then we saw it time and time again that Hazelwood looked great on the Widowmaker as well. So it's not like it's that far off of a thing. Like, hey, I will say that it's going to come down to the Widows. Flat out, this map will come down to the Widows, who is feeling it the most, because even in games outside of this, when Widows typically aren't a factor, this map, it is always a factor. And I think that is truly going to force its head here in this map.
Yeah, and what we're seeing in this series too is a similar narrative, interestingly enough, to a previous game we saw, where St. Charles is great at adapting. They're so fast to pinpoint what the main struggle they are facing is and adjust accordingly. They realized, hey, Widowmaker, you're kind of getting shut down on your main hero. Try playing Sombra. See what we can coordinate on this end. Pull out a Tracer. We can't win the hit scan duel. Like, they're so fast. Someone brings it up and they make that change. And that's the type of communication you need to see. With the Wildcats, they've made changes too, but it's not nearly as quick. They had the whole series previously to come up with a game plan for how they were going to attack this series against St. Charles. And while it worked at the start, Jesse, it's that in-game, that mid-series adaptation that the Cyber Corsairs have really used to their advantage.
They've done a great job, like you said, those adaptations. And at this point, when you're playing teams like this, adaptations are everything. You need to make sure you can't be one-dimensional. You got to show 2, 3, 4 different looks, and just showing it time and time again, whether it be the role swaps or the mid-game swaps. I think they've looked great. I'm not saying Hazeltown and Hazelwood haven't looked great either. I think Hazelwood has also done a great job of switching here and there, but they've just been a little more hesitant, I would say, too. They haven't been as keen on swapping off their kind of main 2 or 3 compositions that they love to run. And I think here, going into Circuit Royale, again, I'll put in air quotes, typically Sigma is played. These teams really haven't shown the Sigma. They haven't really cared to show the Sigma, because Sigma, outside of this map, isn't really great right now. So I wonder, my question is, do you go the Sigma just because it is this map, or do you just stick to your guns, stick to what is confident right now, and run a tank that, yes, you maybe feel more comfortable of in front, but it might not support and protect your backline from the opposing Widowmaker as much?
No, and I think that's the decision that these teams need to make is, first of all, who's playing tank? Is it going to be Burb, Potato Cujo? Will it be Rhoda? Will it be Cheeky Scrub? I'm assuming Burb will be on DPS for this. Okay, never mind. I can just be wrong. That's fine. Burb is on the tank and the Winston of all things. So that is the Widowmaker player of the Wildcats, now playing a completely different role for the first time this series. What in the world?
This is, this series in this day just keeps throwing curveballs, huh? Just keeps throwing curveballs. I thought for sure it would be Burb back on the Widowmaker. And the fact that, A, they're not on the Widowmaker. B, we don't see Widow at all. We don't see a sniper at all. Confuses me to my core.
And there's a Roadhog. You want to bring that up?
No, not not really. I the fact that this could actually work, I think
It
is
might.
phenomenal. I never thought this would work for St. Charles, but the fact that Hazelwood is not running a typical comp on this and actually running dive, it may be crazy enough.
Hey, maybe Hazelwood had a genius level read on the compositions that were going to be going out here. This is abnormal, to say the least, but we're really just going to have to wait and see what ends up working out, because that is how chaotic, how untypical that it is. Nova, a little bit more damage. Not really good to play that close to Roadhog, because you can easily get pulled in and one shot just like that. Nova does stay alive, thanks either. Extra healing pumped in, and Hazelwood have made quick work of that first corridor, which the snipers often dominate. Instead, Nova on the Venture, a hero I would not typically recommend playing here, that has just led the way.
Oh yeah, it's just, I think Nova again is in that MVP conversation if Hazelwood is eventually able to win those things. But for now, they got to focus on the now. They're not even in the title game quite yet. But there will at least be the stall coming in. Rhoda will get the stall in the ice block, and that is a massive point.
Rhoda's there, and that allows the rest of St. Charles to get to the point, but in a very staggered manner. Hazelwood was already set up on the objective, and you kind of had to fight in them. As unprecedented as this map is, Jesse, we're kind of seeing Hazelwood regain their footing after kind of stumbling over themselves a bit on the defense previously.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they're continuing this pressure, right? Obviously, the Junker Queen definitely changes how they want to approach this defense. But the fact that, yeah, they can kind of just set the tempo. And already, look at that. Hack goes through the Venture right there to that.
I'm always so impressed with Nova on this Venture. This is exactly where you need him to be at all times. This is kind of the other piece. Nova, tectonic shock. There's barely anywhere that you can hide from that ultimate, and by far, this Venture player is the star for Hazelwood.
Yeah, Hazelwood. Finally, there you go. Able to get it done. This time, Hazelwood continues pressing on forward. As this is, again, a phenomenal spot. Especially with this map, it's typically very hard to attack because of the bridge, because of the high ground. But because these comps are not conventional, it lends itself to chaos.
Oh, but that's big. That's 3 players hit with the rampage. Managed to get the south barrier off. You still lose out on Potato Cujo. It's not the end of the world. There's no EMP. Punk for St. Charles since they lost out on Windowmaker, and Cheeky Scrub can kind of just keep doing what they're doing, at least until Burb pulls out some excellent juggling mechanics. I mean, the snipers, the Winston, I can't name 2 different types of heroes to play in Overwatch. Burb is just an overall talented player. Even though it's not enough, I'm still impressed by this one.
No, I'm incredibly impressed by this tank, whether it be they're on tank, whether it be they're on DPS, and now the Rhine gets pulled out. So we're doing a full circle. What we thought we'd see a lot in the series is that Reinhardt rush is now.
We've got the good old-fashioned Hazelwood Reinhardt May brawl. We've been talking all day about how Nova has been setting up whoever has been playing tank, and this is where it all started. With Burb on the Reinhardt and Nova playing May. We're back at the beginning. Hazelwood have come full circle, and they want to end that circle here. It's going to be hard, though, with an EMP and Death Blossom online, though, Jesse. It's just a 1-2 punch combo, and you don't have any abilities to deal with it. Excellent timing from the Cyber Force Harris.
Yeah, EMP, Death Blossom, team goes boom. Easy as that. And that's honestly old school, like Beyblade era ultimate combo right there. If you understand the Beyblade era, that you've been around for a long time. I will say that. I'm definitely dating myself with that. But now, if you're Hazelwood, you have the Orbital Ray, you have the Death Blossom of your own, which would get blocked by the Orbital Ray. That could be a new little combo of its own.
Hazelwood can certainly make something happen with this. The Orbital Ray alone might even be enough, unless Fate just in there. Joe does a little dance of death on the objective, picks up 3 of his own, and that right there will march this payload through the second point. And now we can start attacking at the hotel.
In we go. Looking for a reservation if you were Hazelwood. It's time to figure out if they actually overbooked or not, and if they can get this in with time remaining or in OT. Honestly, 3 minutes to go. Still in a relatively decent spot. And now we're back to a Ryan duel. like old school grind duel, just not the map at all that I thought we would be seeing this on.
No, not particularly. You gotta say this is a bit of a change, but you gotta see, like, look how the hallways are structured here. They are narrow. You can make a Reinhardt work with a Mei here. Problem is, you swapped late. Hazelwood have the ultimates. Noah laid down a blizzard like it was nothing, and St. Charles High School have no choice but to forfeit this space.
Yeah, they cannot give that space up, and they don't get the stagger on a Cheeky Scrubber, do they? They are health. My goodness, they are able to get out though at the end of the day, and now Rhoda is gonna have a visitor for Potato Cujo, and he out. Just as soon as he gets up there, he is not excited.
No, not at all, and I don't think Cheeky Scrub is particularly happy with the treatment he's receiving either. Burb has just been saying MPD all game, but Rhoda comes back up, hits a couple with the Death Blossom, and Cyber Corsairs will stay in this. If it wasn't so instantaneously traded out, Rhoda has looked great on this Reaper.
Irrepressible.
This Reaper should change a lot. I won't lie, I feel bad for her. Playing the Shatter thing, hey, I got the Reaper. Oh, no, you didn't get the Reaper. It's just outside of the Shatter cone. If they hit the Reaper, maybe it's different.
I mean, speaking of the Reaper, there he is again. Rhoda grabs Nova. Cheeky Scrub does overstep their bounds, and once again, eyes on Rhoda. What can he manage to do to help this team stabilize?
Try and help this stabilize, honestly, for St. Charles, if you're Hazelwood.
Yeah.
You just gotta actually get into a fight that you're not already down one. I will say St. Charles have turned into the aggressor in a few of these fights, which has been a really good change. And I think it's throwing Hazelwood off. They're not the team pressing W all the time. They're getting pressed into them, and it's forcing that reaction. That happens a whole lot of.
The Potato Cujo now, the Death Blossom, ultimate that it was in store, has been pressed, but it's mainly blue in the kill feed. St. Charles High School can't put some, but it's Nova, the blizzard, turning up into an early winter. It's not even Halloween yet. We can't have snow yet, and it doesn't matter for Hazelwood. They'll take over the kill feed and everything else, along with that payload rotating on home. It's only Rhoda remaining, goes in with the Death Blossom. Every way to get out, but Teaser, and these two full shotguns to the face. There's St. Charles, they're still in this. Cheeky Scrub returns with the Earth Shatter. This should not be happening, Jesse.
That is an insane return, and having that Death Blossom pay dividends in the snagger on the Burb as well. That'll make it incredibly difficult for Hazelwood to be back in this as a full 5. It will be up to Nova to try and touch on the Tracer, presumably. Here we go. Touch tries to go in out. Potato K who's able to touch.
And Potato's there, but for how long is the real question. Yeah. Rhoda. What happened between then and now? But he is on an absolute tear with this Reaper, and genuinely is the only reason that St. Charles High School were able to prevent Hazelwood from full capping.
That, granted, that's partially a Circuit Royale third phase moment.
Yes.
But also that, hey, you're still stable, right? You're still stabilized if you're St. Charles. Again, clear win condition. You basically finish the map. You're going to the grand final, and you're going to return to a grand final with a rematch of our first game of the day, but also it will be a rematch of last year's final. But Hazelwood looking to ruin the party just a little bit. They've already knocked out a top 3 finisher from last year. Why not make it 2 out of 2 for the potential to make it 3 out of 3? I will say, again, these comps are just so weird. I was not ready for the rush going into this. But I do feel like Hazelwood kind of slowed down a good bit once you got into that third phase, and even the second phase to a degree. Charles really understood the assignment, slowing down the tempo. And now, okay, now we're getting to the comps that we thought we would. The Sigma is fine here. Burb will go on to that. No Widow for Hazelwood, I think, because of the fact that Burb is on tank and not hit scan. So it'll be Nova on Cassidy, Potato Cujo on Bastion. But for St. Charles, look who finally decided to return to the main, huh? Look who finally decided to come home. Windowmaker teasing the Widow on the most Widow of all.
As you should be. I feel like this is a little bit later than we were. Okay, it is. The Widowmaker is just a hero that pretty much always played on this map, and we get to follow that true. I do not Hey, Cheeky Scrub, look how low he was already chunked. You're playing into a Bastion, Sigma, Cassidy. Every single one of those heroes has a way to shut you down, and it's not going to be in a fun one. The difference is they're trying to pull the attention. Remember how Cheeky Scrub is disrupted to the point that their opponents forget that Windowmaker exists and they can just click heads. That's what they're going to try to do here, but against the Sigma, it'll be much harder.
Yeah, against a Sigma, it's a lot more protection for your team, depending on how you want to try and play the angles with the shield. Now you can see Windowmaker, one up top, and they find Teaser.
There it is. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. Like, at this point, someone's got to swap. This is not the answer for Hazelwood West. I do not believe they are expecting Windowmaker to play come back on the Widow, let alone Cheeky Scrub to play Doomfist. Like, unconventional as it may be, St. Charles High School making themselves work as a unit.
Yeah, no, so far, phenomenal from them. Just throwing a wild card out against Hazelwood, and the swaps do start coming in. It will be Potato Cujo, who has the duty of trying to match this Widow and almost lands the first shot, but nobody dies.
There goes Cheeky Scrub and Potato Cujo on the way. Apparently, can flex onto that roll too. Okay, why not? Why not at this point? How come this Herb and Potato Cujo can pick up basically any hero and be excellent at it at this point?
Yeah, they're just looking at Pyro, Inferno, and Teaser like, hey, as long as you guys can be support, we got this. Like, we can be whatever you guys want us to be, whatever combination. Hey, if they would have hit that shot, I would have been out of my chair. But they at least get the infra sight from that. Now they can start pushing in. Again, Ryan not gonna have Shadow for a long time.
Yeah, but I like the Reinhardt into the Sigma pick. The problem is Rhoda was way too far ahead of Scrub, and you really want to be playing hand in hand with your tank player in that sense. Windowmaker, I mean, you win the sniper duel here, sure, and Cheeky Scrub can live a lot longer on the front line. Gravitic Flux, though, is pretty dang massive. They can keep, again, the Reinhardt alive. Herb is extremely out of position. Healy's coming in for Cheeky Scrub, and suddenly Herb knows that he has to back up as quick as possible. Nova's down. Rhoda, once again, Death Blossom in the back, and the support just crumbling from underneath Hazelwood West. St. Charles, top point.
Again, just what was happening? I'm running out of words. They were able to bring that back. The Death Blossom Rhoda. Right after they kind of feed right beforehand, they go in too early. They actually have enough time to come all the way back and land the Death Blossom. Granted, they had Tree to work with.
Hey, Cheeky Scrub, Cheeky Scrub,
where art thou, Romeo, going?
Please don't shatter. He's gonna shatter him. He's gonna do it. He's gonna. What was coming, Cheeky Scrub? You beautiful genius. Just baited all of them in. We're like, oh my gosh, this guy's feeding. He's gonna die, and he just won the fight. And this is the hardest point in the map to complete because of the high ground, Jesse. They moved through it like it was nothing.
I don't even know if Hazelwood will get an actual fight during this phase, which is an absurd thing to say. If they're positioning it, they should at least be able to get a touch. But wow, it's gonna be like.
I mean, they're gonna get there, but it's gonna be pretty. Nova has an ultimate and is going to look in the back line to use it. Risky, popping up in front of Windowmaker. It doesn't really hit with Potato Cujo, using the amplification matrix with Pyro Inferno to shut down St. Charles in the front line. So Nova going down is the big of a deal.
I love how Nova was like, look at me, I'm going for your Widow. Don't worry about the rest of the team that's gonna rush you as soon as you try and peel. I think that's almost the advantage of, hey, I know they're going to try and peel for this Widowmaker. Let's take advantage of it. But now the Widow is no longer on the board. Windowmaker will go over to the May to try and punish Burb even more.
Take that swamp again, too. I mean, this is great. I like the May. You just want to focus on the front line, knowing the Widowmaker too much. Where this card currently stands, Nova, though, the immortality field from Pyro, it was working a lot there, just until it didn't. Rhoda got too close. Cheeky Scrub has yet another Earth Shatter and the Cyber Corsairs. They are chugging along to this point. 3.5 minutes left to go, and only one of these teams can move forwards right now. With St. Charles' momentum, Jesse, it might be them.
With the home team inching closer and closer and closer, just under 80 meters to go. Try and finish this off. They're in a great spot. Like, I won't lie, they're in a phenomenal spot. Hazelwood would have had no answers to the new moves from St. Charles. And yes, the Junkrat could play a factor here now, but I wonder if it's too late.
I mean, spam spamming bombs through this hallway. It adds more shield pressure for Cheeky Scrub. Windowmaker will need to be more defensive with their wall placement. So it's overall a better change for the pace of the game. But as you said, Jesse, it's a good change. Is it too late? Did you lose out on those ultimates, on those major tools? Fortunately for Hazelwood West, they should be okay, at least for this current fight. Orbital Ray, along with the open, it's a platform placed underneath. Dread Fire kept the entire team alive except Cheeky Scrub. It was a nice little fun play that we got to see from a life lever. However, Hazelwood just committed way too much into that for St. Charles to handle.
Yeah, committed way too much, but honestly, they needed to. They knew that, hey, we need to win a fight. We need to win a fight. We cannot let this boil over and let them just kill ball us before the end of our tournament run.
Ooh, it will be the Orbital Ray, though, on the other side. This ultimate's hard to beat. Windowmaker Roto with one apiece is now up to Nova, the Riptire, going on a journey on the high ground. It's all over the place. Juke at least gets one, but at the cost of their life. Only Potato Cujo stands, throws the bomb onto the cart, but doesn't live. At the end of the day, the bomb was taken off cart. It was Cheeky Scrub. There is no contest. It's now Burb, who has inched their way closer. Roto does block and stunned out of it. The counterplay from Burb is superb. At immediate moments, but is it enough? They don't have the healing. Cheeky Scrub still stands tall. Earth Shatter on the way. If they can withstand this damage, St. Charles are about to escort their way into the grand finals for the second year in a row. It's all about the Earth Shatter. Put on the defense. Rhoda with one, but teaser Nova the respawn. The defense action never stops. But once the dust settles, Jesse, it breaks through. The home team is returning to the grand finals.
The home team become the hometown heroes for now. They will return to that grand final. They will get that rematch. And oh my goodness, Hazelwood just not going to make it after an incredible day of games. This that was one of my favorite plays so far this weekend and so far today. But man, what a way for St. Charles. They find this comp and just they shove it down. Hazelwood decided that there was nothing to do. And I think, like you said, the fact they played so well on second phase, they had so much time going into that last phase of the map. That was the difference maker here on Circuit Royale.
I mean, I'm out of breath after that.
I bet
what
you are.
An ending for that. Like, my lungs hurt, my throat hurts, and that knows how it was a good game of Overwatch. And it is, we're casters. We love narratives. We love following storylines. But I don't think you could have had a more poetic one than this. I mean, you had Hazelwood West, a newcomer to this tournament who has fought against the odds, against these experienced teams, almost managed to do it. But we get a rematch of not only the very match that started our day, but from the grand finals of the tournament just a year ago. It couldn't have more perfectly laid out in this event. And this grand finals is going to be one heck of a game.
Oh, it's going to be just phenomenal. And we're going to be going to a quick break. We got to get, obviously, the other teams settled in. St. Charles will just be staying at their setups, but don't go anywhere. This final, if this is any sort of indication of what that final is going to be, you want to stick around. Make sure you stay with us.